Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I have a guest and found him on the road. Explained this story many times and did a DNA test, and it's weird. He's like, it's my dad or uncle or something. I don't know. So anyway, we're going to go over, it's about him today. This is going to be his top 20 favorite songs of all time. So you have how many years of listening experience to put into this?
Yeah, at least about 50, 60 of them anyway.
Yeah.
So it was kind of tough drawing them out.
Yeah. So what I don't have a lot of these singles or anything, so I'll be popping up a graphic here so you can see what we're talking about. Also, I'll be talking about this kid here, this bird. And I actually pulled this album out. It's not anything really, it is related to one of the songs that you picked. I don't know if can you take a guess at which song it might be? Neil Young had a sort of a relationship with these guys.
No, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
No.
So I'll be bringing that up for to make part of this whole thing. So all right, so you guys hang on and let's talk music. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. Okay, and here we have what we're drinking today, whiskey again, right?
Yep. And, Bob Dylan, Heaven's Door.
Yeah, Heaven's Door. It's good whiskey.
Knock, knock, knock on Heaven's Door.
Yeah, you will be if you drink too much of that. That'd be a problem. Okay, so this is gonna be the top 20 songs. I paused it here because this actually is related to vinyl and records.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why? Do you remember anything about this bird and vinyl records?
No, I don't remember. No, not on him. No.
Yeah, so this bird across the way was the record player, and I think his cage was right next to it. And my mom would put on an album teaching this freaking thing how to talk. So that's all you'd hear, pretty bird, all that. And that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get rid of the record, so I was trying to teach him myself how to whistle. So yeah, that's why I froze it on that picture right there. Okay, so going into the 20 songs, I know this first one, my light is just going crazy over here today. Hocus pocus. Okay, so the first one, you already know what this one is, right?
Pretty Woman.
What year was that?
And that was 63.
I have 64. But
Yeah, 64. Right. Well, it was about a year after my dad died. He passed on in 63.
Did that hold any significant meaning to it?
Yeah, because I was only I was 13 when he passed on, and my stepmother, we went up to Montreal, Canada, and just kind of take a breather from things. And
did you have family up there?
What's that?
Family up there?
She did.
Okay.
She did. Yeah, I didn't have. Well, my mother was my mother was originally from Canada. I don't know much of her history, but my stepmother was also from Canada as well. And so anyway, this was in '64, and we went into Canada for a couple of weeks. And back then, when you had the concerts, you pretty much stood around the base, and it was kind of like in the center. And of course, his big hit was Pretty Woman. Of course, he had other hits prior to that.
So it was like a round stage?
Yeah.
People were all around it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't sit. You stood up, and you just try to muscle your way in there. And of course, he did his original songs before Pretty Woman, but Pretty Woman was pretty much the one that put him on track. And of course, at the encore, he played it last, and then he played it twice after that. And then we were walking back to the car, we turned on the radio, and the radio station is playing Pretty Woman. So I think we kind of had our fill of Pretty Woman for a while.
Well, from to play it multiple times in concert.
They played it at least twice, I remember. I think maybe even 3 times. I mean, it was just that big of a hit. And it is today. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's been used for background music for, movies and things.
That riff.
Yeah.
And which is interesting, because I don't think Roy Orbison had many riffs that I can remember. That was just a big that you hear that and you know what that is.
Yeah.
There's and Van Halen covers it too.
No.
And they rock it out. They do a respectful version of it. I think they did a good job. Have you ever heard that one?
No, I don't think I have. No.
Yeah, they do the same. I think it was Diver Down. They did a bunch of covers, and they actually do Happy Trails on there.
Okay.
Which you might have heard. They do it they do it a cappella, I believe. So, okay. So the next one is the Beach Boys, In My Room.
In My Room.
1960. Oh, look, I got them mixed up. Well, maybe it was 63 because this is 63 also.
Yeah, In My Room. I wasn't one to make a lot of friends and everything else, so I was pretty much a loner. And of course, my favorite place is going to the library, and I could find solitude there. And that song just struck a nerve for me to just, you know, just in there with your room and just with your own thoughts, and you know, what can you do to make your life a little bit better, or what's going on with your life. So a lot of times solitude is a friend of mine, so that song really sticks out a lot for me.
Yeah, and there's that soundtrack that I told you about, the Canyon, songs from the Canyon.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
they do
that.
covered on there, and they were talking about, they actually had Brian Wilson on there, and he was saying, well, he wasn't saying, somebody on there was talking about how that was his place to go.
Yeah.
He didn't like a lot of social interaction, so he wanted to go to that room.
Yeah.
So it's I never even thought about it. I always liked the song because the melody's nice and it's just a good song.
Yeah.
But he really captured something there, and I kind of reflected on that later and caught on to when I was a little bit older.
Yeah.
Next one is Herb Alpert.
And Tijuana Brass. Well, you know, it's kind of
more. Yeah.
I know, it sounds kind of crazy. Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
65.
Yeah, you're going from Roy Orbison, Beach Boys to
You never heard of Miles
Albert?
Davis?
Really?
This is Herb Alpert guy. Okay, so we're having all kinds of issues today. I got a light blinking over here, running out of battery. My camera likes to shut off every 15 minutes for some reason. I don't know if that's in the settings, but anyway. Okay, so where we left off, where we just rudely interrupted the whole thing, was More and More and More by Herb Alpert.
Herb Alpert going places, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And I'm not a big trumpet player, but he's good. I mean, care that much about the trumpet, but
yeah,
he's
I'm
very
going to question
good.
that because some of these artists you're coming up are very brass and trumpet based.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. Maybe
He's a trumpet guy who doesn't know it.
Just maybe it depends on the mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, going back to the summer of '65. The first summer that my stepmother had to go back up north, and so I was by myself, and but I stayed with a friend of mine's grandmother, and she had this album, and she played it, and I'm like, wow, that sounds really very good, you know. And of course, I'm 16 years old at the time. Why would I be interested in him? But he did have some pop hits, so it was not like he was out Neverland.
It's very it's you know, it's more commercial. I mean, I don't know if you put him in the jazz thing, but it's very catchy music. Mm-hmm. I put it on downstairs. I have this album down there.
Yeah.
And that's what I was playing the other day. Mm-hmm. And it's music that sounds nice. It's upbeat.
Yeah.
So it's
very upbeat. So I really like it. And I was dating a girl, and that More and More song on the album was just really very melodic. It's very.
Was it My Mother?
No. Oh, no, that was before your mom. This was in '66.
Oh, so there were women before.
Or '65 rather. Yeah.
We'll save that for once I get a Patreon account.
Yeah.
I'll give you the juicy details. Yeah. Mm.
So, but anyway, it's kind of weird that 16 years old, that would have been one of my, and it's always been one of my favorite albums.
I mean, you just never know what's going to strike you. Mm-hmm. You know, again, you could like one song from a band and hate the rest of their music.
Yeah.
There's something about a song.
Yeah.
So the next one is, I can't get right to it, but it's the Beach Boys, Good Vibrations.
Good Vibrations. That was kind of a turning point for the Beach Boys. I always felt that I thought maybe they were going to go a little bit psychedelic. And I did hear at one time how they were trying to put Good Vibrations together.
Yeah, they're good.
And it sounded horrible. I mean, I'm like, wow, how did they get from being just horrible to just one of the top songs in the 60s? And but they just kept working at it. So it was really a labor of love for them to put that together. And that was always one of my big top favorite ones there, was Good Vibration. Not so much the album, but the song itself.
Yeah, that was 66. Yeah, that song you can't have a mono version of that song. It's just so dynamic.
Yeah.
And he almost went nuts
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
I think that was the period of time where he brought sand into his house and he put a piano in the sand in the middle of his living room or something like that. So
Yeah.
definitely an eccentric kind of guy.
Yeah.
So the next one, so this is where I'm talking about the horns. This next one is 1967 Keith, 98.6.
98.6. I'm not sure why this song stuck in. I think stuck to me, but I think it was because of the way that it got pushed. He was just nobody, and he did this demo, and he brought it to a studio and dropped it off and left. Now that's the story that I heard about this guy Keith. And so the record company played it, and they fell in love with it, and they were trying to find him. They couldn't find him, and it took a while for them to get it. It ended up being a very good hit for him. He didn't have a really big career. He had, you know, one or two albums, and I guess you could probably almost say that was a one-hit wonder for him. But there was just something about it that just stuck with me, and I think it was because of the story behind the song.
The thing about this reminds me of Chicago. It could be a Chicago song. In fact, I'm pretty sure I thought it was a Chicago song until I was reminded it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like that early Chicago with the horns. See, there's the brass.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So,
but then again, it's upbeat. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what
and I think horns really kind of deliver that type of music anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of any real sad songs that the horns play, except maybe taps. I mean, that's...
Listen to Neil Young and the Blue Notes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think horns are more upbeat.
Well, yeah, the way they use it in a lot of music is impactful, like James Brown and all those guys. They use those horns because of the sound was awesome, and it brought it up. Yeah. So the next one, here's another one with horns. Johnny Rivers, Summer Rain. That was 68.
68. Yeah. That whole album, Realizations, here's another kind of turning point for Johnny Rivers, from, Memphis days, slicked hair back and everything else.
Now it looks like,
and now he's got the goatee going and the beads and the peace crosses and all that stuff, peace signs. But this was a turning point for him. The whole album, that's another one of those whole albums that is not bad from start to finish. He does a good rendition of Hey Joe.
Oh, really?
Which I believe that was written by Hendrix.
Well, that was a Hendrix cover.
It was a Hendrix cover?
Hendrix cover.
Okay, but Hendrix did Hey Joe too.
That's the popular one.
And he did Hey Joe, and it was very good. And another thing too is when the album starts out, this is one you might want to give a listen to also. The album starts out with like you're at a football stadium. We're getting ready to watch a high school football game, and it starts with the brass band and everything else starting up, and very interesting. He does Summer Rain, which is probably one of the big hits that came off of that song, that album.
That's the one I know. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. His voice always throws me off. It's I don't know what it is. It doesn't irritate me. It's just it's I don't know. It pokes at me a little bit. I don't know why. If it's his style of singing or what.
Yeah.
So the next one is, here's your Neil Diamond, Brooklyn Roads.
Brooklyn Roads.
1968.
Yeah, if you had watched the previous video that we did, it brought home to me some not so happy times and stuff, and it's just brought back some memories that myself personally, you won't see me getting across that Mason-Dixon line. That's it. I'm here. Massachusetts, hell, nothing special for me.
Well, that's interesting because the song itself is he's remembering it like it's a good thing. So for you, it had the opposite effect.
Well, but it also has a part in there about report cards. I was always afraid to show, and I was always afraid to show mine because I was dumb as a box of bricks. I mean, you just didn't
apply yourself.
It was partly that, but I didn't have the support. And I'm not trying to get sad or melancholy or anything like that, but that's what that song brings to me. I love the song, and it does, bring back some sad memories, but it's still just, that's like a part of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's the beauty of music, and that's why we all listen to it. It's something, and you won't hear a song for years and years and years, and suddenly it pops up, and all of a sudden you're back somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about. And for you to get choked up or whatever while you're talking about a song, that just shows you the power of the music.
Right.
And that's why we're all emotionally connected to all this stuff.
Right.
So that's cool. And this one, I don't know if it threw me off or not. I'm glad it's on one of your it's there because it's Layla, Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even put up old Neil. Sorry, Neil. And Neil, we know, has Parkinson's right now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know if he'll even be able to play guitar anymore, but there's, I guess Brooklyn Mose was on this, but that wasn't the album exactly.
Yeah.
But, no, we're skipping. Now you saw what's up next. Anyway, so this one, the song Layla by Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's Eric Clapton, and Dwayne Allman stepped in and helped with most of that guitar work on that album.
Yeah.
Elton, get
And,
back
and I guess it's just because the way that he ended it is what really drew me to that song. I just liked it when it just kind of like smoothed it out.
Oh, the piano?
The piano part of it.
Yeah.
And I thought that just was really a good job.
Well, did you ever see Goodfellas?
No.
With Scorsese with the mobsters and De Niro? Oh,
No.
you got to watch Goodfellas. We're going to have to do a movie review.
Yeah.
They use just that piano part for a scene, but it's basically all these mob hits. It's great,
wow.
but it's so, it's done well. But I just found out, so Derek and the Dominoes, you had, is obviously Eric Clapton, and then you had Carl Radell and Whitlock, and you had three guys that are actually from Delaney, Bonnie and Friends, and they were part of Derek and the Dominoes, and then they followed Clapton through his solo career. But he had a keyboard player, but actually the drummer played the piano part.
Huh, wow.
I would never, you think this guy has that role, but the drummer played that part.
Yeah, very
so, so that's a great album anyway. That's like a greatest hits. And that was Eric Clapton's cry out to, at the time, there was my light again, George Harrison's wife, Patty, right?
Yeah.
So that was that whole thing. He had written something for her.
Right.
And there was one other I can't remember that Harrison wrote, and Layla. So imagine having two of the best known love songs in rock and roll history written by two different men for you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, okay, so the next one is, and he kept popping up here. Come on, there he is.
Yeah. Your song.
Yep, Elton John, Your Song, and that was, which year was that? 1970.
1970.
Same year as Layla.
Yeah. So that song was always, I'll buy a house built for you, and I always thought that it was something that he had a really good relationship with his father, but then he really didn't, did he? I mean, when you look at Elton John, the bio that they did on him, there was no relationship there, really.
I mean, I guess, unless I'm getting mixed up with Freddie Mercury, but yeah, it seemed like, with him being gay too, it was probably hard at the time for a dad to come
and his dad
to terms with that.
Yeah, his dad was a military man too, so that was pretty unacceptable for that time.
Yeah.
So, but I always thought that it was a love song to his father. Didn't find out till later that it really wasn't.
No, and plus you have Bernie Taupin writing the lyrics too. But that's it could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
However you relate the song is your truth, basically, for the song.
Right.
So,
yeah, but it's always been one of my favorites.
I always just pictured somebody, writing, and I like the part about if I was a poet, but then again, no.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's singing it, he can't write a lyric to save his life, but Taupin was the poet.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good combo.
Yeah. He knows his career wouldn't have been. He would have had all this great music, but the lyrics just, yeah. So the next one is, and here's your horns.
Chicago. Oh yeah, there's nothing.
So this is Saturday in the Park, 1972.
Yeah. Again, Vietnam era with Chicago. They just blasted it out there for you. Saturday in the Park. A lot of good songs that brought to mind of being home. So, but the vocals were good, and the horn section was excellent. So. There we go. Yeah, again with the horns.
Authority,
yeah.
So you obviously like Phil Collins, a lot of horns, and some of that Genesis stuff, but mostly Phil Collins. But yeah, horns really add to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's why they got so much flack when they put out that Chicago 17, and it was really a pop album, and the horns were taken out. Yeah. Wow. So you had David Foster stepped in and really promoted what's his name, Peter not Selleck. Peter,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have an excuse. I'm an older guy, so.
You know that guy that sings for Chicago that's not there anymore?
Well,
Peter
don't think about
Cetera. Peter Cetera.
Yeah,
That's the
Peter
guy.
Cetera. Yeah.
Selleck. Who's Peter Selleck?
Yeah, really. Must have been Tom
Tom
Selleck's
Selleck
brother.
and Peter Sellers had a baby.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so the next one is Leonard Skinner, Freebird.
Freebird.
And this is, what year was that? 73.
Yeah. That song, I don't know. It has to be one of the top 3 as far as I'm concerned, as far as getting airplay. Oh my God!
Play
But
Freebird.
but if you didn't listen to it for a year and you heard it, then you're like, oh man, what a great song that was. But then after a couple of times hearing it, it's like, okay, we'll put it back on this shelf for another year.
But you want to keep it around.
Yeah, you want to keep it around.
Well,
yeah.
that guitar solo, it's just great melody, great everything. It's just overplayed, but it still fights back.
Yeah, and that was one of your Southern rock bands that were coming in Alabama.
Yeah, 73.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with the tongue. Is that a tongue coming out the end of the gun? And now we're at Elton John again, couple albums later, and it's there he is. It's off of the Yellow Brick Road album. Very first song, "Funeral for a Friend" / "Love Lies Bleeding."
Well, actually, I don't know if the version. I don't know about this album here, but the "Funeral for a Friend" he had that on "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road."
Stop right there. Perfect. Okay, so you had it on what?
So I heard "Funeral for a Friend," "Love Lies Bleeding" on Yellow Brick Road. I'm not familiar with this album here itself, but just the way it starts out, and you really kind of feel with the way he's got that.
Oh,
That wasn't playing.
The wind's blowing.
That was the the
whoosh.
He was had the organ, right? And
very just funeral march.
Just like eerie. It's almost like
And
if you were
wind's
watching
blowing.
a Vincent Price movie
Yeah.
or something like that. That probably would fit in pretty nicely. But then it gets into "Love Lies Bleeding" and it just starts cranking.
The two completely different songs. How they put them together is interesting.
That was an interesting.
Some people say they
combo.
can just do without the second part of it, and just go with the first part. I like it both, but I like them both together. But there's something odd. It just goes into complete change.
Yeah. So it's a nice. I don't know. I've never heard them separate. I mean, I guess I could.
I don't think you can
play them separate, but I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of just go right into
They
each
just
other.
blend. It just blends. It's just a good combo.
Yeah, and it kicks off a great double album, Yellow Brick Road. I mean, that's that, and Yellow Brick Road is a little deceiving because he's got those big platform shoes, and it looks like you're going to a glam rock thing, but it has soul songs on there, R&B, just piano ballads.
Yeah, it was a good album all the way around.
Yeah.
That's another one of those that you can't really find a bad song on there.
Nope. So the next one is Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama. And so that brings us up to 1974.
Yeah, it doesn't really hold a lot. I don't know, it's just something about the song, being proud of your state. Like, I'm very proud of my state of Florida. And so, you can be proud of your country too, but it's kind of nice to hear music that people like their state, and they write a good song about it. So I've always liked that song. So it doesn't really hold anything dear or near to my heart, just the fact that it's somebody. I wish somebody would come up with a song about Florida. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay, so this is where we tie in with Neil Young, is off this song. So this song, do you remember some of the lyrics in there where they mention Neil Young?
Yes,
Neil will remember. So
that's
the
right.
thing was,
That's right.
This Neil Young wrote. It was a response to Neil Young's "Southern Man" on here, which is good to depict a good description of the South at one time. So he does talk about the bullwhips cracking, and he talks about the slavery and all those things, and basically saying, when are you going to pay him back, kind of thing. So he's really laying it on the Southern man. Now, Alabama, understanding what he was saying, still said, hey, we're not all like that. We've changed. We're not exactly like that. Yeah, probably still have a couple racist bias, but who doesn't, right? So they wrote a response to Neil and said, hope old Neil, will remember.
Right.
Southern man, don't lead him round anyhow.
Yeah.
So that was a little playful thing, but when I read up on it, they actually really enjoyed each other. Neil Young loved the song "Sweet Home Alabama." He actually liked it because they put their heart and soul into the song, and they were saying, hey, that's not all just us. We have our faults, because he says we love the governor, boo-hoo.
Yep.
So I don't know who that was at the time.
Yeah. I know who it was, but I don't.
Yeah.
He was in.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And Neil Young would wear Leonard Skinner shirts on stage, and Leonard Skinner would wear Neil Young shirts on stage. So I always wondered if they actually got along, but it seemed like they did.
Yeah.
So that was why I put up the Harvest record, because there was that connection to Sweet Home Alabama. All right.
So I learned something today.
Yeah.
Very good.
So Fleetwood Mac, Go Your Own Way is the next one. There they are, Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks up there.
Yeah, just it's to me it's kind of an upbeat song. I mean the music itself is, and the lyrics, just go your own way, be your own person. That's what I try to be. Like it said earlier in the last video, I didn't have a whole lot of friends, and I liked my solitude, but I always kind of felt that I was able to go my way and do the things that I needed to do and try something new. So
that's interesting.
And well, who would know back in '86 I was going to leave a grocery chain and go do horseshoeing, And here I am. I have trouble with understanding and focusing on something, and I went to horseshoeing school up in Kentucky, and that's pretty much going your own way right there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm still working with horses, so it's been a pretty nice little career. Not very lucrative, but it was a good career, and I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because the whole song is about a breakup, but you got something else
I
out of
took
it. You
something
kind of
else.
just said, and that's the beauty of music.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
Just that part of the driving chorus,
Yeah.
because they're talking about loving you is the right thing to do, and you can go your own way.
And the thing of it is when we had our horses, people were complaining about farriers not showing up or not doing a good job, and I thought, dang, I could probably do this, and I did. So that was back in '86, so I've got like 36 years.
You just did some miracle work on a horse, and now she backs up. Now she won't stop backing up. You did.
Little Lucy,
Yeah. So I mentioned before, my daughter, I think I've mentioned it before, she rides horses. She went to the state Special Olympics, and this horse just would not back up. And I don't know what you did.
Well, it wasn't anything to do with her feet. It was just muscular. And I do massaging too. And it was something muscular. And so I found out where her trigger points were, and I manipulated her and then worked with her a little bit. She backed up. She did a great job for my granddaughter.
There's the next one, but I just found Leonard Skinner. There they were.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah.
So I messed that up. Anyway, so the next one is this one. The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Every Breath You Take. Just a phenomenal love song.
83.
I love the bass. I love the whole concept of the song.
The sound,
the sound, and it was the #1 song back in, what year was that?
83.
83. It was the #1 song for the year, which I kind of felt that it would. I'm pretty sure it was the #1 song.
There's a lot of competition in 83.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of competition in any year. Yeah. But it was just one of them songs that I can listen to 3 times in a row. It's just that good.
Well, it has that sound, It takes me back to so many different spots in the 80s, that song.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, you call it a love song, but do you know what it's like really about?
No,
basically
probably not.
Stalking a girl.
Every
that breath
you
take, every move you make, I'll be watching you.
Yeah.
So a lot of people realizing, this song's creepy,
Well,
but it's not. It could be interpreted in any way.
It's like you say, it's what you take out of it. I took at it as a love song.
And that's what everybody interpreted it as.
Yeah.
He's just living for her. No, he's stalking her. Yeah. So, but I don't know if Sting ever said it was that, but supposedly that's what the song's about. So, all right. So the next one is Lee Greenwood, and I can't guess why you like this song. God Bless the USA. 1984.
I'm a patriot. I love my country, and he actually wanted to give this song to Owens of Alabama, the group Alabama. And Owens told him, he said, no. He said, this is your song. And it is. When you think about Lee Greenwood's career, he this song is his signature song, No Ands, Ifs, or Buts About It.
I can't name another Lee Greenwood song. It's this one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to do that too, because that one always sticks out. But we have an auditorium here, and I used to give blood. And if you gave so many pints of blood in a certain time, they gave you tickets to a concert. And I got to see Lee Greenwood at a concert. And when he came out, his band came out, his son played the drums. And he was dressed up like a Raider, like Paul Revere and the Raiders. And he had the tricorn hat and the suit and everything else. And of course, you know, God Bless the USA was the signature song, so they saved that at the end. So when he got into it, about where it starts to get really upbeat and really, you know, heart to heart.
The chorus comes in.
Yeah.
The choir.
All of a sudden, this big, beautiful American flag rolls right down. And everybody got up. I mean, it was just unanimous. Everybody stood right up, and it just sent. I'm getting chill bumps right now.
So it's cool. You have that vivid memory.
Yeah.
That image.
It was great. It was great. So yeah, that's God Bless the USA. Amen.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you're like me. You're like all over the place. I mean, I'll probably go a little bit darker places that you haven't, because I don't know how much Pink Floyd and bands like that. But I think if you listen to like Momentary Lapse of Reason and gave that a try, like there's songs on there I think you'll get. But you're definitely
Yeah, I'm all over.
Yeah. So the next one was Randy Travis. Forever and Ever, Amen. Yep. He looks like he's about 12 there.
Yeah.
And this came out in 1987.
Yeah. During the 80s, I wasn't too happy with some of the music coming out, and I started listening to some country music. And he was one of the artists that I enjoyed, along with Alabama and Hank Williams Jr. and things, you know, people like that. But this song here, Forever and Ever, Amen, it's kind of like going back to the Sting song, you know, Every Breath You Take. It's just one of the songs that just, you can listen to it for a couple of reasons. And you kind of feel that this one here was a lot more heartfelt in a sense. But that was one, and that did very well for that year too. I think it came number one for the...
you know, because country at that time was very pop, and I think Dolly Parton started that pretty much in the late 70s with that Here I Go Again. So country had a different sound. It was like pop music production with a country artist and some steel guitar over it, but it was a weird combination. It wasn't like if you listen to country in the 70s or 60s, early Willie Nelson. So, but this song, I mean, it was on pop stations. I worked in a grocery store, and this was right next to whatever song was a hit that day of a pop song. So it fit right in. But it had a great story.
It did.
I'll love you and love you, as long as old women talk about old men and all that. It's just a good story.
Yeah, very heartfelt, something that you could listen to quite often.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is probably my favorite on the list, because I have a ton of his stuff. There he is.
Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down. Yeah. I just like that, I won't back down. It's like, you go your own way. I'm not backing down, I'm going to go my own way.
Stand there you go. The gates of hell.
Put those two together. It just, it's, I don't know, there's just something about that song that just was heartfelt for me.
Yeah, it's not a demand, like this overpowering song. It's just a good rock song with beats saying, you know, sarcastically. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not backing down.
That's right. Yeah. So that's why that's on my top 20 list there.
Yeah, I do have him down there.
Fortunately, we lost him a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm still not over that.
He's a Florida boy.
Yeah, Gainesville.
Yep.
I have him down there somewhere. There it is. So it was off of his. It actually wasn't with the Heartbreakers, but Mike Campbell was still on there, and a couple of Heartbreakers were. But Tom Petty said he did this because he could really do the music the way he wanted to, without the complete input of the band. So it was off this one, Full Moon Fever. It came out right around the time of Roy Orbison. We got pesky kids coming in here.
I made cookies.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Great. So we have cookies for our whiskey.
Yay.
Okay. So anyway, it came out right around the time of Roy Orbison. You Got It.
You got it.
And it was the same producer, Jeff Lynch, who was
Yeah.
working with both of them on the Traveling Wilburys. So.
And that was hard for me not to put You Got It on that top 20 because
Well, you got
he
Pretty
was,
Woman. So.
Well, I mean, I tried not to get too many duplicates in there and too much Beatles stuff because you can talk Beatles all day long.
Yeah.
But he was making his comeback, and I was like so excited about it. And then I hear I think he was over in London, and he was doing a concert out there or something, and he had a heart attack, I believe.
Yep.
88. Yeah.
1988. Yeah, he's only 50 something, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't very old.
So, so two more. You have Alabama, and this is She and I.
She and I. This song.
This sounds like a pop song when it starts.
Is.
You would have no idea. It sounds like an 80s pop song when it begins.
But then again, here we go. How does it start out with those drums? But it just that really like, and I would just play when I had my tape player there in the car. I would just play the drum part for about 3 or 4 times. It just grabbed a hold of you.
I'll have to listen to that again.
But the song itself is silly, but and you wouldn't never think it being a country song from a country artist like Alabama. But it was a fun song, and the video was good. If you ever get a chance, search Alabama, She and I, and watch the video. It's a fun video, and I think you'll enjoy the song too, because the song is really very good.
Oh, it's a nice song.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that example. Alabama is a prime example of that 80s country pop kind of sound.
I've seen them a couple times in concert, and they would do their country classics, their country standards, and then they would take a break and then come back on stage. They'd have the stage reset a little bit, and then they would come back and do songs from the 60s. So Monty Millsap did that.
Like cover songs?
Yeah, no, rock songs, rock and roll. They
Cover
came out,
rock songs, right?
Yeah, they came out with like leather jackets and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so they did songs, rock and roll songs from the 60s. Monty Millsap, I saw him in concert. He did the same thing. He took a stadium break or a stage break, and they come back out and he's doing songs from the 50s. So there was 2 concerts that stayed in my mind for a long time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very good.
Yeah, and I think I've seen them live before, and I think they sound, if you want to say more country, live, because you don't have that overproduction. They're using acoustic drums, not using electric drums in the studio. So I'm gonna go kill a dog in a second. You hear him? So yeah, so watching them live is a whole different thing. So it's always interesting how that works. So yeah, that dog's gonna get it. All right, so the last one, I'll just let you have this one.
All Summer Long.
All Summer Long by Kid Rock.
Oh, now that one there, and I wasn't really a Kid Rock fan. I mean,
It's good to hear. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but this song struck me too. The first summer that I got my first kiss ever was back in the summer of '65, before we moved down to Florida. And that song just brought back some happy memories now. Like Brooklyn Roads brought some sad memories for me, but this song brought some happy memories. We used to have a cottage on a little island called West Island in Massachusetts, and you can look it up on the map. It's right off of Buzzards Bay. And we had a cottage right on the water. And we used to have beach parties on the weekends and stuff like that. And I was 16 years old then at the time. And that's met a girl at the beach party, and we were dancing and stuff, and then she said, "Come on with me," and went off, and that's where I got my first kiss.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
It just takes you off to get a kiss.
Just it. Yeah, I'm
So
like, wow. I mean, I was shy around girls and have a lot of friends or anything, but that's what happened. So that's where I got my first kiss.
Nothing like Kid Rock to remind you of your first kiss.
Yeah, really.
Hopefully she didn't look like Kid Rock.
Thanks, Kid Rock. I appreciate it.
Hopefully it was just a song.
Yeah.
There was something about this song too that I told you, because there's that dun 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 dun, right? So I told you, obviously he didn't write that part, because at the time it reminded me of Sweet Home Alabama. But then I really thought about it. I was listening to it the other day. It's actually directly taken from Werewolves of London, is the song.
Oh, really?
You ever hear Werewolves of London?
No, I've seen the movie.
That
I think
piano
once, but I
is
haven't
Werewolves
sung.
of London, literally. Like dun 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 dun. Yeah. So that's what he did. He basically sampled it because he's kind of like the hip hop. I don't know if he raps, rocks, what he does, but
I think he started out more rap, and then
it was
he
like
kind of got
it was
older,
rock
I think,
rap.
Yeah. He started getting a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
But the video is good too. If you ever get a chance to see the video is very good too.
Yeah, a lot of girls in bikinis.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So, so that's that song. Again, a little history on that one. So, anyway, so that's the top 20 that he picked. Not island record, but just the top 20 that he could come up with for his favorites, right? So, I don't know if I could ever do that. I could do it today, and then tomorrow would be a completely different list. Just like, how would I pick my favorite album? So, anyway, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. It was a pretty good time. How's the whiskey feeling?
Good.
Yeah, the whiskey's flowing pretty good. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for me, and leave some comments so I know what material you're looking for, and I can come up with other episodes for you. And we will check you out next time, all right? Thanks for watching, and bye.